I can honestly say this is a first.
Bigger.
We've got boats, we've got submarines, we have Barbies everywhere.
Everywhere.
Better.
Because they're not just objects, they're really parts of my own life.
Now that would be something.
Welcome back to the show. With me now is the host of MeTV's Collector's Call, the incredible and beautiful Lisa Whelchel. How are you today?
I'm great. How about you?
Thank you so much for being here. So excited about season 2. So let's dive right into it. Why did you come back for a second season of Collector's Call?
Well, I had such a great time the first season. It really, I certainly signed on for it because it sounded fascinating. I'd worked with a producer before, but I didn't expect to have so much fun and learn so much. So I'm enjoying the show. It's a show I would watch.
Who do you think is the craziest collection that you've seen so far?
Oh man, that is hard.
The Barbie one looked a little nuts.
You know, this is, and I say this with all the affection and respect in the world, I think they all have to be a little crazy to get on the show, because they have to be extreme in their collection. They're usually either, whether it's just tens of thousands of items or millions of dollars worth. But it's taken years usually to collect it. They've been on the hunt. They've been obsessed or passionate, whichever word you want to interchange there.
Oh, yeah.
So they're fascinating people with great stories.
Are you a collector yourself?
I am not a collector.
That's crazy. I was not expecting you to say that. That's kind of, I collect Pez.
Okay.
So if you see something with a really cool Pez, steal some expensive items from me.
Okay,
slip them in my back pocket.
So how long have you been collecting?
I've been collecting since I was about 5.
Okay.
And my grandfather made these like special things for us. We have them in display cases. A little obsessive, a little crazy.
But see, I love that. And I could have told you that it had something to do with your childhood. I would say 98% of the people on our show, the collection started from their childhood and oftentimes with a beloved member of their family. So it
started with my brother.
It makes sense as to why we want to hold on to those things. Strangely enough, a little awkward seg, but genuine. People ask me why The Facts of Life has lasted so many years in the hearts of people, and I think it's the same thing.
Right.
Most people watched it in their childhood, and we're always trying to hang on to that feeling.
It's the nostalgia factor of everything. I mean, I think we all want to go back to it. What seems like a simpler time.
Right.
Well, every collection has a reason and a story. What was your favorite story of this season?
Well, my favorite story, I would have to say we have a lot of guest stars on this season, which is really fun. Barry Williams from Brady Bunch, Scott Hamilton. But we did a show after Charlotte Rae passed in April a year ago. Her son was going through all her belongings, and he found things he didn't even know she had. Wow. And chronicling the decades of her show business career. Facts of Life was just a blip in the middle of her big career. So I think that was probably my favorite, just seeing all of the things that she had and learning even more about her after her death.
Do you have any like memorabilia from Facts of Life that you've, at least?
I wish I did. See,
nothing.
No. Not only
Lisa.
did I not think about getting it, but I probably would have thrown it away just because I didn't know.
Get off my set! This is tragic.
No. See, that's why we need shows like Collector's Call to help people to know. Hang on to this stuff because you really, if it means something to you, it's not going to lose its meaning. It's only going to grow in its value to your heart.
Very well said. Well, you've been in TV for so long. You know, you were on the Facts of Life as Blair Warner.
The Facts of Life. We can do that. Sure.
Yeah, with the Flax. So that's what I'm on. Yeah. Did you know that the show was going to be as impactful as it was when you were on it?
Absolutely had no idea. But then again, there was a joke once the producer called and I guess it was on a Sunday night and he said, we're going to drop up another script. He said, I'm sorry to interrupt you. And I said, well, I'm not doing anything. He said, you're not watching the Emmys? And I said, no. What, are they on? He said, you really don't bring it home with you, do you?
Yeah, you really just, I mean, look, these are legends.
I wasn't even, I was a teenager. So I was thinking about boys and friends and the things that teenagers think about. That just was my job.
Have you run across anyone that collects like a lot of Facts of Life material or anything like that? Like, would you be freaked out if you saw someone with just like storage?
No, I think that'd be so cool.
Yeah, that would be pretty awesome.
Would be. I mean, I have run into people who have a handful of things, but not a whole collection.
That's season 3.
There you go.
Did you find yourself watching reruns of Facts of Life with your family?
No, but my kids, when they were in junior high, discovered my boxes of VHS tapes where I had the Facts of Life. And they said, what are these, Mom? And I said, well, that's the show I told you about that I was on, because, you know, obviously they didn't know. And they went through a season where they would have their friends over and do Facts of Life marathons when they were in junior high, but they don't watch them anymore.
That's so sweet. I thought they were going to be surprised that they were VHS tapes and not know what that is. You know, a little shocking. You know, what was it like working with George Clooney? Did you predict he would be as big of a star as he is today when he was on that show?
Not at all. I mean, you can tell he's cute there, but he's not George Clooney.
Yeah. Well, men.
Yeah, I know. It's so true.
Although you look pretty good yourself, so there you go.
Thank you.
Do you have any like funny behind-the-scenes stories about him? Was he a nice guy on set?
He was a great guy. He was a lot of fun. The only funny story I have was not behind the scenes. It would have been on the scenes in that I was asked to do an interview probably 5-10 years ago, whenever he was nominated for an Oscar. And they said, well, what was it like to kiss George Clooney? And I said, well, I don't know. He was not a love interest to any of us on the show. And they said, well, you did kiss him. And I said, well, I think I'd remember if I kissed George Clooney. And they rolled a tape where there was a scene where I was pretending to be his fiance, and he lays a kiss on me. And how I forgot that I guess that just answers your question. I did not know.
You're an enigma. I think anyone would kill to be, I mean, I'm gay, I would kill to I would remember kissing George Clooney. This is incredible.
I know, maybe, I don't, call it repressed memories, but why I would repress that when I don't know.
I was going to ask if he was a good kisser, but you can't even remember locking lips.
I'm not going to be able to say, I'm not going to blame that on his kissing ability.
Yeah, no, it had nothing to do with him.
No.
It's all you. Well, speaking of the cast, you, Kim, and Mindy actually had a little mini reunion on a Lifetime movie. What was that like? Was it good to get the gang back together?
It really was. It wasn't supposed to be. It's not a reunion movie, and so that was kind of like, what? When they started advertising it that way. It was just simply that Kim called us one day and said, hey, I'm doing this movie. I want to do a tribute to Charlotte Rae by having the skating rink named after her. Why don't y'all come up and film for a day? So we thought, and they said, you can create your own characters. So that sounded really fun, and I wanted to do something totally different from Blair. So I came up with a character of a kind of a hippie, because for the sole reason because I thought it was so funny that Mrs. Garrett owned Edna's Edibles, and that would be a totally different store today.
Yes.
And we were going to be doing little just kind of hide Easter eggs in there. So I thought, I'm going to reference Edna's Edibles and just a subtle nod.
I like the
to
new
what
age.
It would be.
I like this new age Facts of Life. Maybe we have to bring this back. This is pretty good. Are you still close with cast members?
Yes, very close. We follow each other on social media, but we also have our own little private group thread. Text.
I love that. I want to actually talk to you about family, as you've recently become a grandmother to a beautiful baby girl. What's it like, this next phase in your life? I mean, come on,
Look at her. Is she precious?
She's
or
so
what?
cute.
She is precious.
How old is she now?
She is 6.5 weeks old.
She's fresh.
She's very fresh. And so fresh that, of course, I'm madly in love and miss her. I've been away from her for like 4 days and got to get back. But I tell you what, so far I'm enjoying the most, and that is seeing this new daughter of mine as a mother. And
that'd be incredible.
A whole new respect. I mean, I've always respected her, but she's just an incredible mother, and I just learned from her.
Wow.
And I just have loved being with my daughter while watching her with my granddaughter.
That's got to be so fun.
Yeah. It's
That's
wonderful.
Incredible. Well, more congratulations are in order, because I believe you got engaged in November. Congratulations.
2019 was a big year. For
yeah,
sure.
Children being born, you're getting married. Is there a date set?
And my son got engaged a few months before that. My daughter got married a few months before that. So it was a very...
You guys are all stealing the spotlight from each other. This is a family thing.
We actually have juggled the spotlight because, so my youngest daughter got married in April, but my son wanted to get engaged, but he did not before. He wanted to wait, and then we were going to get engaged, but we had to do it after he got engaged, but before their wedding. So,
oh my gosh.
Moving pieces here.
Well, congratulations to everyone in your family. How did it happen? Were you surprised that he proposed?
I was not surprised. I was surprised at that moment because he did put a beautiful surprise engagement, and I didn't know the exact day, but I knew we were going to be getting engaged.
I love that. I absolutely. Are you going to invite all your old cast members to the wedding?
Oh, I'm just having my family, so like 12 people. It's just because what we're doing, you know, I don't want a big wedding. I'm not even going to get a, dress or anything, but I've already rented this big Airbnb. We're all going to stay in it. And for 4 days, we are going to have game tournaments. We're going to have a spades tournament. We're having a swimming competition, tennis competition, croquet. We're just going to have all kinds of games because we're a gaming family.
You are my hero. This is the best wedding I could even imagine. I'm going to sneak my way in there. Some sort of way I will get my way in there. Well, Lisa, thank you so much for chatting with me today. You are absolutely incredible. Collector's Call premieres Sunday, January 12th at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on MeTV Network.